Шановні колеги, дозвольте розпочати засідання разової спеціалізованої вченої ради. Ми зараз знаходимося в безпечному місці, тому за київським часом сьогодні 14:00. І згідно з постановою Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року, номер 44, та затвердженого нею порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, наказу ректора Західноукраїнського національного університету номер 487 від 26.06.24 року, на підставі рішення вченої ради Західноукраїнського національного університету за протоколом номер 11 від 26.06.24 року створено спеціалізовану вчену раду ДФ 58082058 ЗУНу з правом прийняття до розгляду та проведення разового захисту дисертації Рівіліса Ігоря на здобуття доктора філософії за спеціальністю 073, менеджмент з галузі знань 07, управління та адміністрування. Згідно з порядком присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, пункт 27, захист дисертації повинен мати характер відкритої наукової дискусії, в якій зобов'язані взяти участь здобувач, голова та усі члени разової ради. Під час атестації здобувача члени разової ради повинні оцінити науковий рівень його дисертації та наукових публікацій з урахуванням дотримання ним норм академічної доброчесності. Перевірка на доброчесність дисертації Ігоря Рівіліса виконана з використанням програми «Унічек». Текст дисертації здобувача за результатами перевірки на наявність академічного плагіату, фабрикування чи фальсифікування не містить запозичень без належного посилання на джерело, що відповідає критерію дотримання норм академічної доброчесності. В разі надходження до закладу звернень інших осіб з оцінкою дисертації, разова рада озвучує їх під час публічного захисту та з врахуванням результатів розгляду приймає відповідне рішення. Такі звернення беруться до розгляду у разі їх надходження не пізніше, ніж 3 робочих дні до дня захисту дисертації. І хочу повідомити всіх, що звернень від інших осіб у встановлені терміни не поступало. Заклад забезпечує трансляцію захисту дисертації в режимі реального часу на офіційному веб-сайті ЗУНу, а також відеозапис трансляції захисту дисертації. Після прийняття разовою радою рішення про присудження ступеня доктора філософії заклад протягом 3 робочих
I think it can be maybe some problems with electricity.
Okay.
They asked to wait some minutes. They will use some generation equipment.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Very good. No problem. Thank you.
У вас тепер наче світліше, ніж було до цього. Але ми вас не чуємо.
А ми тебе не бачимо.
Да, Юра, ми вас не бачимо поки що.
Поки не було світла, прочитав останню новину, що всіх 4000 аспірантів класичного приватного університету сьогодні поновили і повернули ліцензію рішенням суду. Це ті, що той випадок, коли на 160 ліцензованих місць було 4000 аспірантів.
Так, шановні колеги, ми мусимо розпочинати. В нас, на жаль, були технічні причини, то, що ми запізнюємося по таймінгу. І згідно технічних причин, теж я мушу попередити, що ми можемо робити технічні перерви, якщо в нас знову буде проблеми зі світлом. Ну, давайте розпочинаємо за київським часом 14:00. Згідно постанови Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року, номер 44, та затвердженого нею порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, наказом ректора Західноукраїнського національного університету за номером 487 від 26.06.24 року, на підставі рішення вченої ради Західноукраїнського національного університету за протоколом 11 від 26.06.24 року, створено спеціалізовану вчену раду ДФ 58082-058 Західноукраїнського національного університету з правом прийняття до розгляду та проведення разового захисту дисертації Ігоря Рівіліса на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії за спеціальністю 073 «Менеджмент» в галузі знань 07 «Управління та адміністрування». Згідно з порядком присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, пункт 27, захист дисертації повинен мати характер відкритої наукової дискусії, в якій зобов'язані взяти участь здобувач, голова та усі члени разової ради. Під час атестації здобувача члени разової ради повинні оцінити науковий рівень його дисертації та наукових публікацій щодо дотримання норм академічної доброчесності. Перевірка на доброчесність дисертації Ігоря Рівіліса виконана з використанням програми «Унічек». Текст дисертації здобувача за результатами перевірки на наявність академічного плагіату, фабрикації чи фальсифікування не містить запозичень без належного посилання на джерело, що відповідає критерію дотримання норм академічної доброчесності. В разі надходження до закладу звернень інших осіб з оцінкою дисертації, разова рада озвучує їх під час публічного захисту дисертації та з врахуванням результатів їх розгляду приймає відповідне рішення. Такі звернення беруться до розгляду в разі їх надходження не пізніше, ніж за 3 робочі дні до дня захисту дисертації. Хочу всіх повідомити, звернень від інших осіб у встановлені терміни не поступало. Заклад забезпечує трансляцію захисту дисертації в режимі реального часу на офіційному вебсайті ЗУНу, а також відеозапис трансляції захисту дисертації. Після прийняття разовою радою рішення про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, заклад протягом 3 робочих днів оприлюднює рішення разової ради про присудження ступеня доктора філософії та відеозапис трансляції захисту дисертації на офіційному вебсайті ЗУНу з можливістю вільного перегляду. Шановні колеги, дозвольте мені оголосити інформацію про здобувача. Згідно з поданими даними, документами, Ігор Рівіліс народився 9 травня 1965 року. Він є громадянином Сполучених Штатів Америки. Після закінчення в 2020 році Тернопільського національного економічного університету отримав диплом магістра з відзнакою за спеціальністю менеджмент. Так само в 2020 році вступив до аспірантури Західноукраїнського національного університету за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Успішно виконав освітньо-наукову програму та після завершення навчання за акредитованою освітньо-науковою програмою, термін навчання якої тривав з 1 листопада 2020 року по 31 жовтня 2024 року, здобувач отримав академічну довідку 065 та висновок наукового керівника, доктора економічних наук, професора, завідувача кафедри міжнародних економічних відносин Західноукраїнського національного інституту Зварича Романа Євгеновича, які представлено в атестаційній справі. Ігор Рівіліс звернувся до структурного підрозділу з письмовою заявою щодо отримання висновку про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації. Успішно пройшов публічну презентацію наукових результатів та її обговорення на фаховому засіданні кафедри міжнародних економічних відносин ЗУНу 18 червня 2024 року, протокол номер 1. Результати обговорення та проведення презентації відображені в висновку про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації з пропозицією щодо кандидатур складу разової спеціалізованої вченої ради із захисту дисертаційної роботи для здобуття ступеня доктора філософії. Здобувач Ігор Рівіліс звернувся до вченої ради ЗУНу з письмовою заявою щодо утворення разової ради. За результатами розгляду заяви прийнято рішення вченої ради 26 червня 2024 року, протокол номер 11, та на його підставі видано наказ номер 487 від 26.06.24 року про утворення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради для присудження ступеня доктора філософії у складі 5 осіб, голови разової ради, 2 рецензентів та 2 опонентів. 26 червня 2024 року оприлюднено електронну копію дисертації в форматі PDF з текстовим шаром і накладеним електронним підписом здобувача та інформацією про склад разової ради. Посилання на веб-сайт, де здійснюється трансляція захисту дисертації. Подано друкований примірник дисертації, підписаний здобувачем до бібліотеки закладу, електронний примірник до Державної наукової установи УКР-НТІ, а також до локального репозитарію закладу. Інформацію про утворення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради подано до інформаційної системи Національного агентства із забезпечення якості вищої освіти 28 червня 2024 року. Усі документи, які представлені до спеціалізованої вченої ради, оформлені згідно вимог чинного законодавства. Рецензії рецензентів та відгуки опонентів були надані вчасно і розміщені в електронному вигляді на офіційному веб-сайті університету 9 серпня 2024 року. Внесено повідомлення до інформаційної системи НАЗЯВО про дату, час і місце проведення публічного захисту дисертації Ігоря Рівіліса у визначений положенням термін. Згідно пунктів 13, 14, 17 та 22 постанови Кабміну від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 про затвердження порядку присудження ступені доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступені доктора філософії, до спеціалізованої вченої ради надійшли всі необхідні документи і матеріали. Отож, шановні колеги, дозвольте представити членів нашої спеціалізованої вченої ради ДФ 58-082-058. Рецензенти – це Монастирський Григорій Леонардович, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри менеджменту, публічного управління та адміністрування, управління та персоналу з ЗУНу. Живко Максим Андрійович, кандидат економічних наук, заступник директора навчально-наукового інституту імені Богдана Гаврилишина, доцент кафедри міжнародних економічних відносин ЗУНу. Шановні опоненти, Данько Юрій Іванович, доктор економічних наук, професор, проректор з наукової та міжнародної роботи Сумського національного аграрного університету. І Горбаль Наталія Ігорівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри зовнішньої економічної та митної діяльності Національного університету Львівська політехніка. І я, голова ради Длогопольський Олександр Володимирович, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри економіки та економічної теорії Західноукраїнського національного університету. Я хочу зазначити, що офіційний опонент Данько Юрій Іванович бере участь в засіданні нашої ради з використанням засобів відеозв'язку Zoom. Шановний колега, підтвердіть якість зв'язку. Пан Юрій.
Підтверджую. Доброго дня, колеги. Я разом з вами.
Все
Серцем
добре.
Тернополі, фізично тут.
Дякую. Прошу членів Ради підтвердити свою присутність у реєстраційній картці присутності. Офіційно присутні тут члени Ради Монастирський Григорій Леонардович, рецензент Живко Максим Андрійович, опонентка Горбаль Наталія Ігорівна і я, Длоупольський Олександр Володимирович. Онлайн присутній опонент Данько Юрій Іванович. Прошу. Колеги, підтверджуємо свою присутність підписами. І я прошу надати дозвіл Юрія Івановича на те, щоб я підтвердив його присутність своїм підписом. Чи Юрій Іванович надає мені такий дозвіл?
Так, звичайно. Ви голова. Що скажете, те й
Дякую,
зробимо.
Юрій Іванович. Дякую. Так, в реєстраційній картці ми вказуємо режим зв'язку Zoom і підпис голови Ради. Дякую всім. Згідно реєстраційної картки, яку ми зараз повернули, в нас є 5 членів спеціалізованої вченої ради. Всі 5 членів присутні, з них докторів наук за спеціальністю, якої підготовлено дисертацію, 3. Отже, засідання вченої ради є правочинним і є пропозиція розпочати це засідання. Чи є інші пропозиції? Немає. Тоді дякую. Всі члени ради згодні розпочати засідання. Значить, на порядку денному в нас захист дисертації Ігоря Рівіліса на тему «Глобальне управління відходами та корпоративна соціальна відповідальність». Подано на здобуття доктора філософії за спеціальністю 073, менеджмент, галузі знань 07, управління та адміністрування. Чи є інші пропозиції в шановних членів ради до порядку денного? Немає. Оскільки інших пропозицій немає, пропоную проголосувати за затвердження цього порядку денного. Хто за? 5 членів ради. Хто проти? Немає. Утримались? Немає. Отже, згідно з порядком присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, засідання нашої вченої ради буде проводитись англійською мовою. До нас звернувся здобувач і отримав дозвіл. Чи є заперечення? Здобувач, ви підтверджуєте, що захист проходив англійською мовою?
Так, підтверджую.
Окей. Значить, нас мова захисту буде англійська. Dear colleagues, according to our agenda, I give the floor to the applicant for presenting the main result of his dissertation. It's proposition to set time limit for the applicant's presentation just around 15 minutes. Do you have any objections? Maybe some of you have some objections. No? Okay, please, Igor Rivilius, you have the floor.
Thank you. The socially responsibility behavior of individuals, businesses, and governments is the defining characteristic of the normal functioning of social relations and prerequisite for the sustainable development of a country. It is important to ensure a balance of social process through the coordination of the interests of economic entities and society, the balancing of social proportions, and the achievement of defined priorities in order to prevent an accumulation of social distortions. As a result, the study of the process of corporate social responsibility as a tool of international corporate management in the time of crisis is relevant today. The current waste disposal process is linked to rising operational expenses, which include the costs associated with waste collection, transportation, and processing. Ineffective waste management, ranging from inadequate waste collection systems to inefficient waste disposal methods, result in pollution of air, water, and soil. This problem actuates the research of global waste management and corporate social responsibility and requires the development of integrated solid waste management systems. The purpose of the dissertation is a scientific substantiation of the theoretical concepts of waste management and the formation of social corporate responsibility in the context of the development of the applied model for the implementation of the environmental strategic priorities of business. Based on the purpose of the research, certain objectives were set in the dissertation, which helped reach the scientific novelty of the research results, which consists of establishing the theoretical foundation of waste management and the formation of social corporate responsibility in the context of the development of the applied model for the implementation of the environmental strategic priorities of business. It has improved the terminology, in particular, the essential characteristics of waste management are detailed, and the concept of waste is substantiated. The term waste hierarchy is justified by options that are ranked in order of preference for waste minimization. Thus, the results of this study show that it is widely accepted that waste management services are crucial services that should be available to all communities. Waste can present itself in diverse forms, and its classification can take on various dimensions. Several typical traits are utilized to characterize waste, such as its physical state, properties, potential for reuse, biodegradability, origin, and its environmental impact magnitude. Waste management theory offers a conceptual framework for understanding waste management practices, defining key concepts, and proposing methodologies for effective waste handling. Central to this theory is the premise that sustainable waste management hinges significantly on how we define and categorize waste. It has further developed the characterization of types of corporate social responsibility by selection of external and internal focus on CSR, and theoretical identification of corporate social responsibility theories by classification of the evolution of CSR theories by three main phases. Implementing corporate social responsibility, CSR, strategies can enable organizations to bolster their reputation, social relevance, and long-term sustainability. Additionally, this study confirms the pivotal role of environmental management in the enhancing the physical, social, and economic aspects of an enterprise or project. By advocating for planned investments at the outset of production chain, it helps prevent the necessity for expensive cleanup efforts later on. It has improved the concept of environmental management in a system of waste management by analysis of environmental management framework, justification of the advantages of undertaking environmental management, and development of environmental management tools. The field of environmental management encompasses socioeconomic, policy, and scientific dimensions, with a primary focus on devising solutions to real-world challenges stemming from resource extraction, waste generation, and human interactions with nature. It is in the strictly anthropocentric context, environmental management revolves around tackling the fundamental issue of continuously advancing technology while minimizing its impact on the natural environment. It has further developed the analysis of waste management in a system of circular transformation and elaborate waste collection collaboration options for municipalities. The recycling sector has transformed into a global enterprise, spanning international markets and intricate supply and transport networks. Solid waste management presents a significant challenge in both developed and developing nations, as highlighted in the numerous literature sources. The rapid urbanization worldwide imposes a burden on cities which must responsibly handle waste in a manner that considers social environmental impacts. Crafting effective waste management strategies hinges on understanding local waste characteristics influenced by cultural, climatic, socioeconomic factors, and institutional capabilities. Globally, waste management trends are shifting towards regionalization and increased structure. Developed countries typically exercise formal oversight over waste municipal or regional level due to their higher waste production rates. Conversely, in less industrialized nations, where waste generation is lower and mostly organic, waste management involves a blend of formal and informal actors. It should be advanced. Several initiatives concerning the circular economy. Beyond mere waste management, these efforts aim at instigating systemic transformation across diverse industries, fostering collaboration to exchange insights. Case studies. products and materials pertinent to circular economic principles. By enacting policy reform, offering financial backing, and shaping public discourse, governments should hold the potential to create conducive environments for the widespread adoption of zero-waste systems. Crucially, mobilizing a global network of allies and prioritizing responsible waste policies are pivotal steps towards this goal. Key focal areas include securing both international and local funding for zero-waste systems, crafting comprehensive roadmaps and regulatory frameworks to facilitate their implementation, and integrating zero-waste objectives into local and national climate strategies, such as methane reduction initiatives. It has improved the evaluation of the features of corporate social responsibility under instability by selecting stages and approaches of social responsibility of business and the outlining problems and threats of corporate social responsibility. When analyzing business operations, it is essential to note that socially responsible companies prioritize the development of their employees, dedicating approximately 10% of their resources to this endeavor. The achievement of sustainable development goals can provide significant economic benefits for the companies that invest in the development of innovative solutions and transformative changes. An increasing number of researchers are evaluating the social, economic, and environmental consequences of plastic pollution. Meeting corporate responsibility in waste management is often impeded by regulatory barriers and the lack of standardized waste management practices. Varying regulations and standards across regions and countries introduce complexities for companies aiming to uphold compliance and consistency in their operations. It has further developed the analysis of the level of emissions under global transnationalization, which allowed to outline levels of circularity and develop the concept of transition from linear waste to circular resource management concept. Technological advancements have played a crucial role in bolstering sustainable waste management practices. Businesses can utilize technologies such as smart bins for effective waste collection and employ advanced recycling methods to enhance waste management processes and reduce their environmental footprint. Furthermore, consumers are becoming more aware of environmental consequences of their purchasing decisions, and they're actively seeking out businesses that prioritize sustainable waste practices. This growing trend motivates companies to be transparent about their waste management initiatives and to actively engage in environmentally responsible practices. It is for the first time developed the model of waste management in the system of corporate social responsibility, which is based on ways of implementing environmental management and directions of corporate social responsibility, includes the instruments of waste management system improvement, take into account the approaches of development process of CSR as a management strategy, determines components of corporate social responsibility implementation strategy, and integrations of CSR under crisis. To improve the effectiveness of environmentally conscious practice within the scope of corporate social responsibility, several steps can be undertaken. These include integrating environmental principles into strategic management systems, establishing a dedicated team of managers to execute environmental initiatives, conducting regular environmental audits, and ensuring that business interests remain a priority in these projects. Furthermore, the development of the model of waste management in the system of corporate social responsibility helps companies to achieve their goals in an efficient and responsible way. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Igor Rivilius, for your very time-optimal and understandable presentation. Dear colleagues, according to our procedure, every of you can have right to ask question for the applicant. That's why, please, who will start? Maybe Professor.
Thank you. Dear Mr. Igor, I have two questions. My first questions, how technologies affect enabling sustainable waste management practices?
Thank you, Professor Monastersky, for your question. Technological advancements are pivotal in enabling sustainable waste management practices. Business can harness technology, such as smart bins, for more efficient waste collection, and utilize advanced recycling technologies to enhance waste management process and minimize their environmental impact. There is a growing focus on extended producer responsibility and product lifecycle management. Producers are being held accountable by governments and regulatory bodies for complete life cycle of their products, which includes waste disposal and recycling. This change is pushing companies to create products with waste reduction as a priority and to acknowledge their environmental impact from production to disposal. The demand for environmentally responsible businesses is increasing as public awareness grows. Consumers are becoming more aware of the environmental implications of their purchasing choices, and they're actively seeking out businesses that prioritize sustainable waste processes.
Thank you very much. And my second question, what are main characteristics of Ukrainian national model of corporate social responsibility?
Thank you, Professor Monastyrsky, for your question. In Ukraine and some other developing countries, a national model of corporate social responsibility has not yet been established. The peculiarity and complexity of corporate social responsibility development in developing countries arise from the following characteristics. First, the privatization and liquidation of large enterprises have inherited a development social infrastructure, like kindergartens and nursing homes. They are rarely used for social purposes and are sold or privatized. Second, the development of corporate social responsibility depends on the economic benefits of the economic activities. The business crisis did not contribute to the expansion of social measures. On the contrary, it forced job cuts, resulting in reduced wages and social savings. And third, Ukrainian corporate social responsibility is developing spontaneously. There are no clear defined government or executive decisions, and in most cases, there's no defined sphere of business socialization that can provide a great return.
Okay, thank you, Igor, but I need to ask Professor Monastyrsky if you're satisfied
Yes,
with
I am
all
satisfied.
answers.
Thank you.
Okay, next one, who will be the next, colleagues? Professor Yuri Danko, please, the floor is yours.
Dear Mr. Rivers, thank you very much for your report. It was really interesting. I have read your dissertation and must to say that it's very good research. But as usual, I have some questions for you. And my first question is the next. Does the corporate social responsibility increase a company's competitiveness, or it only serves as a public relations strategy?
Thank you, Professor Danko, for the question. Of course, corporate social responsibility serves as a public relations strategy, but also enhances a company's competitiveness. Corporate social responsibility contributes to the value of the companies by establishing and maintaining a positive corporate reputation and brand equity. Customers of companies that engage in corporate social responsibility feel that they are contributing to a good cause by supporting the company. Investing in operational effectiveness leads to cost savings and reduced environmental impact. Employees are more likely to stay longer and be more dedicated to the company when they know that it practices corporate social responsibility. Many investors are more inclined to invest in companies that practice corporate social responsibility. Strong relationships with regulatory bodies can help reduce regulatory burdens on a company.
Okay, thank you. And I have one more question. What waste management strategy can be integrated by business to establish waste management system?
Thank you, Professor Danko, for your question. Business can integrate multiple waste management strategies to establish a comprehensive waste management system. While cost-effective measures are paramount, Waste disposal alternatives encompass reduce, reuse, and recycling. Recycling is well suited for handling inorganic waste like plastic, glass, and metals. Additionally, organic waste, such as paper and food products, can undergo recycling, but composting stands out as the optimal disposal method, converting organic waste into fertilizer. Waste to energy is the process of converting waste that cannot be recycled into heat, electricity, or fuel using renewable energy sources such as anaerobic digestion and plasma gasification. While anaerobic digestion involves the biological conversion of waste into biogas, plasma gasification uses plasma-filled chambers operating at high temperature and low oxygen levels to convert hazardous waste into synthetic gas.
Thank
Okay,
you very
thank
much.
you, Igor, for
feel-
your answer, but
I
I
feel
need to
satisfied.
ask Professor Danko, are you satisfied with
Yes,
answer?
I'm satisfied and haven't more questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Who will be the next? Maxim, please, Maxim Zhivko.
Thank you, Igor, for your interesting report and in the conditions of your presentation and handouts material. I have two questions too. And first of all, my question, it will be, does the process of waste management cover only waste elimination, or we should understand it's wider?
Thank you, Professor Zhivko, for your question. The basis of sustainable waste management is the minimization and reduction of waste. As a result, it is worth noting that waste management process also involves strategic planning, prevention of environmental pollution and conservation of resources, minimization of the amount of toxicity of waste generation, choosing the best prevention options while taking into account legislation, assessment of effectiveness and consequences, and decision-making.
Thank you for your answer. And the second, my question, what are advantages of corporate social responsibility concept for business?
Thank you, Professor Zhivko, for your question. A corporate social responsibility concept is advantageous for both the company and society. Implementing corporate social responsibility practices can empower a company to command higher prices. If the business customer base values ethical business practices, they generally understand that implementing these practices may entail additional costs. The favorable image that a company presents has a potential to attract and maintain higher caliber employees. Corporate social responsibility encourages sustainable business practices by investing in solutions that yield short-term profits while maintaining focus on long-term objectives.
Okay, thank you. Are you satisfied, Maxim Zhivko?
Yes, I'm fully satisfied. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And what about our participant, Natalia Gorbal, please, the floor is yours.
So my first question would be, what is the role of the environmental management in the concept of socio-economic development?
Thank you, Professor Gorbal, for your question. Environmental management is essential for aligning socioeconomic development projects with environmental study standards, thereby ensuring sustainable economic growth. It facilitates long-term planning and management, enabling the implementation of effective measures for both environmental management and conservation. Environmental management is not only responsible choice, but also a strategic decision that enhances the overall business performance.
Thank you. And the second question, if I may, what are the threats to the implementation of social responsibility in the country?
Thank you, Professor Gorbal, for your question. The main threats to the implementation of social responsibility in the country are as follows: declarative and uncontrolled use of activities and determination of the productivity of these activities, inconsistency of criteria and evaluation criteria for corporate social responsibility, lack of appropriate legislation and funding, absence of state and non-government organization supporting social responsibility activities, lagging charitable and social activities of the state and public organizations, low level of corporate culture, and financial economic weakness in the majority of Ukrainian enterprises, legal nihilism, distortion of legal consciousness, and the desire to bypass the law.
Okay, thank you. Are you satisfied, Natalia, with all the answers?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, according to the procedure, I also have right to put some questions for the applicant. That's why my first question will be to Igor. What are the main obstacles or challenges face Ukrainian companies that have identified and implemented their social responsibility strategies?
Thank you, Professor Luchopolsky, for your question. Companies that have identified and implemented their social responsibility strategies face many obstacles inherent in Ukraine. Limited promotion of corporate social responsibility. The state has limited mechanisms to effectively support corporate social responsibility, including financially. These are hidden criteria for selecting contractors in tender procedures that take into account corporate social responsibility, and criteria for promoting corporate social responsibility in the banking system. But regulated financial markets do not require or encourage disclosure of information except for corporate governance. Limited culture of cooperation. In most countries, there are very few examples of cooperation within companies, as well as within external influence groups. Cooperation between competing firms largely depends on the desires of owners, with the main criterion being economic and social feasibility.
Okay, thank you. And my second question will be about your last chapter, because in your dissertation you very good have good combination between corporate social responsibility issues and waste management. That's why my question will be about what practical implementations areas includes your model of waste management in the system of CSR.
Thank you, Professor Luchopolsky, for the question. The development of the model of waste management in the system of corporate social responsibility include waste management system improvement, implementation of corporate social responsibility management strategy via the development process of corporate social responsibility as a management strategy, corporate social responsibility implementation strategy, creation of guidelines for corporate social responsibility under crisis, deployment of environmental management strategies and guidelines of corporate social responsibility.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm fully satisfied with your answers. And dear colleagues, do we have any other questions for the applicant? No question. Okay. If we have no questions, we can continue with our next part of our defense, reviews of the reviewers. The floor is now given for the first reviewer, a professor of management, public administration and personnel department of WUNU, doctor of economic science, Professor Grigory Monastyrsky. Please, Grigory Monastyrsky, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor Luchopolsky. Dear colleagues, I submitted my review on time, which is posted on the university's website. So let me focus on its main points. Humanity accumulates waste and pollutes the environment. To solve the waste problem, a global response is needed, utilizing principles of corporate social responsibility. The research was conducted in accordance with the research plans of the West Ukrainian National University. The qualification thesis is independently conducted scientific research in which the researcher has personally developed an applied model for implementing an environment strategic priorities in business based on waste management and the formation of corporate social responsibility. The qualification thesis is characterized by a logical structure, reliability, and justification of formed conclusions and recommendation, as well as a comprehensive review of bibliographic sources. The content and structure of the thesis fully align with the title, objective, and research text. the scientific propositions and presented consistently and logically with conclusions and recommendations based on the results of the others' research with appropriately tested and based on the variety of information sources. The most significant results that reveal the personal contribution of the candidate to the development of the research topic and characterize the novelty consist of a complex of integrated scientific developments and proposals. According to the chosen purpose of the dissertation, which is a scientific substantiation of the theoretical concepts of waste management and the formation of social corporate responsibility in the context of the development the applied model for implementation the environment strategic priorities of the business and developing practical recommendations for waste management within the system of corporate social responsibility. Igor Rivili's qualification thesis is independent, comprehensive, and substantive scientific research. The dissertation provisions which constitute its scientific novelty have been fully presented and discussed at 4 international and national scientific practical conferences. The theoretical research conducted provides a methodological foundation for the management and analysis of the waste management process and the formation of social cooperative responsibility. The scientific results of Igor Rivili's dissertation were obtained personally and by the author from the co-authored scientific papers only whose ideas and positions personally acquired by the author were used in the dissertation. And dear colleagues, alongside the significant scientific achievements, positive evaluation of the content and formation of the qualification thesis, some remarks and points of discussion should be noted. First, the author analyzes the European Union legislation which encourages member states to improve the organization of their waste disposal systems, pays attention to the waste framework directive, which regulated its level in the EU, and the waste transport regulation, which regulates the cross-border transportation of waste within the EU. It would be appropriate to consider waste management in the context of the European Green Deal. 2, the author analyzed the level of emissions in the EU in the context of global transnationalization. The war caused ecological disaster in Ukraine. Today, Ukraine is one of the most polluted countries in the world. As a result, it would be appropriate to more clear formulate proposals on how to overcome the environmental catastrophe in Ukraine. 3, in paragraph 2.2, the author noted that Ukraine has not yet developed a national model of corporate social responsibility. It would be useful to provide the suggestions of that the model of corporate social responsibility in Ukraine should be. And four, the author analyzed a number of scientific papers on the problems of waste management and corporate social responsibility. It would be appropriate to use more scientific papers of Ukrainian researchers in issue of environmental management, circular economy, and social responsibility of business, in particular scientists of our university. These remarks are of discussive nature and do not diminish the value of the qualification thesis regarding global waste management and corporate social responsibility. And my general evaluation of qualification thesis is compliance with established requirements. Igor Riveli's qualification thesis of the topic global waste management and corporate social responsibility submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy is completed independent research contain new scientific substantial theoretical and practical results in the field of waste management and corporate social responsibility. The results obtained by the author, as well as the proposed new solutions, recommendations, and conclusions, are accurate and thoroughly substantial. The dissertation is executed at a higher professional level and is contest aligns with the chosen research topic and the profile of the specialty 073 management. In terms of scientific novelty, theoretical and practical significance of the results obtained, structure, language, and style of presentation, Igor Riveli's qualification thesis of the topic global waste management of corporate social responsibility means of national law acts, and the other, Igor Riveli's, thus to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 073 management in the field of knowledge 07 management and administration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Monastyrsky, for your prominent speech, but I need to ask applicant to answer the reviewer's remarks, please.
Thank you, Professor Monastyrsky, for the comments. Legislation has been introduced in the EU to encourage member nations to improve the organization of their waste systems. The Waste Framework Directive, which established waste regulation at the EU level, progressively increases recycling targets and established distinct collection guidelines for various waste systems. EU also brought in new regulations that discourage waste from being disposed of in landfills or incinerators. In Article 4, the directive established a legally obligatory framework for decision-making that prioritizes avoidance and reuse, the waste management hierarchy. All these norms are consistent with the European Green Deal. We analyzed a number of scientific papers on the problem of waste management and corporate social responsibility. We researched scientific papers of Ukrainian professors in issues of environmental management, circular economy, and social responsibility of a business. In particular, Зварич, Krusavatый, Monastyrsky, Luchapolsky, Yakubovsky, Yatsenko, Zhivko, and Horbal. We agree with all other comments. We take all of your comments into account in our future research. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is the reviewer satisfied with?
I am satisfied. Thank you very much.
Okay, Professor Monastyrsky, is it possible to include in the decision of our one-time special academic council only those remarks which the applicant agreed?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay, dear colleagues, the floor is now given to another reviewer, candidate of economic science, deputy director of Bogdan Gavrilyshin Education and Research Institute of International Relations, associate professor of International Economic Relations Department of West Ukrainian National University, Maxim Zhivko, please.
Thank you, Alexander Volodymyrovich. As a reviewer, I had the opportunity to review the Igor Rivili's dissertation on global waste management and corporate social responsibility. I prepared an appropriate review and sent it to the address on the specialized academic council and time according to the terms that were determined. You can read the review in its entirety on the website of the West Ukrainian National University. And now, if you don't mind, I want to emphasize the key aspects of my review. After reading the dissertation work of Igor Rivilis, I can confirm the following: the problem of global waste management and corporate social responsibility is one of the most critical environmental challenges on our time. As the rapid population growth, urbanization, and industrial development lead to a significant increase in waste volumes. In view of the above, the dissertation work performed by Igor Rivilis on the topic global waste management and corporate social responsibility is relevant and timely. The qualification thesis is an independently conducted scientific research in which the author personally developed an applied model for implementing environmental strategic priorities for business based on waste management and corporate social responsibility, and all scientific ideas, theoretical developments, generalization, research methodology, conclusions, and recommendations presented in this thesis belong to the author. Thus, I can be stated that the main scientific provisions, results, and conclusions of Igor Rivilis' qualification thesis persist as scientific novelty and are sufficiently substantive. Alongside significant scientific achievements and positive evaluation of the content and design of the qualification thesis, it is important to note certain remarks and discussion points. And like for me, it's including, first of all, it's the qualification thesis explores the genesis of theoretical approach to studying the concept of waste management. The research results show that waste management services are key services in the system that should be available in all communities, and it would be beneficial to provide more specific examples to sustain the theoretical approaches and their development or application in real conditions. The second one is the author clearly formulates the key principles of various corporate social responsibility theories, providing a solid foundation for their research. And however, it would be useful to consider more deeply the particularity of the application of these theories in the process of waste management. The third one is the thesis examines the concept of environmental management in the waste management system by analyzing the environmental management system, justifying the advantages of implementing environmental management and developing environmental management tools. It would be valuable to provide a more detailed analysis of the practical implementation of environmental management principles in waste management system. The fourth, the author investigates waste management within the system of circular transformation and evaluates the future of corporate social responsibility under conditions of instability. However, it would be beneficial to use more examples of changes by companies in their corporate social responsibility strategies in case of instability. And the fifth one, it's outlining the prospects of the development of the waste management system and improvement the corporate social responsibility. It would be useful to adapt examples of companies that have successfully integrated waste management based on corporate social responsibility principles. Overall, the above-mentioned discussion points and remarks do not diminish the overall positive evaluated results of the dissertation and the importance of the obtained conclusions and the practical recommendation. In general, like for me, the qualification thesis of Igor Rivylís on the topic Global Waste Management and Corporate Social Responsibility, submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 073 Management, is completed independent research that meets established requirements. The thesis is provided at an appropriate theoretical level and has practical significance. The dissertation topic is fully disclosed. The conducted analysis of the dissertation allowed concluding that the presented dissertation complies with the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine, number 40, dated by January 12, 2017, on approval of the requirements for the dissertation design with amendments, and the one of the approval of the procedure of awarding of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and the cancellation of the decision of a one-time specialized academic council of a higher education institution, research institution, on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, approved by the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine, dated January 12, 2022, number 44, and its author, Igor Rivylís, deserves to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, his specialty 073 Management.
Thank you, Maxim Andreevich, for your deep review, but I need to ask the applicant to answer the questions which put Maxim, please.
Thank you, Associate Professor Zhivkov, for your comments. The research results showed that waste management services are key services in a system that should be available in all communities. Representative strategies were found to include environmentally conscious production methods, such as the use of less hazardous materials, the implementation of modern systems for monitoring the storage of hazardous materials, and the implementation of innovative methods of chemical neutralization and water conservation. In the thesis, it has been confirmed that the key role of environmental management is to improve physical, social, and economic aspects of all enterprise or project. It has been established that the field of environmental management covers socioeconomic, political, and scientific aspects, focusing on the development of solutions to real problems related to resource extraction, waste generation, and human interaction with nature. As a result, environmental management focuses on solving the fundamental problems of advanced technology and minimizing its impact on natural environment. Many companies are still placing strong emphasis on energy recovery and disposal over recycling and other more circular methods. Operating expenses for integrated waste management, which include collection, transportation, treatment, and disposal, typically surpass $100 per ton in high-income nations. Lower-income nations spend less on waste operations, an average of $35 per ton, sometimes more, but they have a far harder time recovering their expenditures. Businesses can integrate diverse waste management strategies to establish the most efficient waste management system. Recycling, for instance, is especially efficient for handling inorganic waste materials such as plastic, glass, and metal. Blockchain has the potential to enhance waste management by introducing digital asset tokens, which as security tokens that are linked to waste in smart cities, facilitating tracking and tracing. These tokens are pivotal in monitoring recycled waste materials and significantly aiding government agencies in reducing waste management costs and operating business processes. We agree with all other comments. We will take all of your comments into account in our future research. Thank you.
Okay, is the reviewer satisfied with answers of Igor Rivilius?
Yes, I am. Thanks.
Okay, Maxim Andreevich, is it possible to include in our decision of our one-time academic council only those remarks which the applicant agreed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. If we have no other questions, let's move to other part of our defense, opponent's responses. The floor just now is given to the official opponent, Vice Rector for Research and International Activities of Sumy National Agrarian University, Doctor of Economic Science, Professor Yuri Danko. Thank you, Professor Danko, for agreeing to be an opponent. And the floor is yours.
Okay, so thank you very much, dear Professor Dolgopolsky. First of all, I want to say thank you for big academic council of West Ukrainian National University and Professor Kresovati for possibility to be member of so interesting, so intelligent council. It's very important for me, really. I have prepared my review and sent to the council, and this review was posted on the website of university. So, if it's possible, and if you agree, dear Professor Dolgopolsky, I want to briefly discuss my review, if it's possible.
It's good decision. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, some words about the relevance of the topic. Corporate social responsibility involves conducting business that offer initiatives and solutions aimed at improving the environment, people's lives and society as a whole. Company separation of the principle have a high level of responsibility to their stakeholders like employees, customers, investors, and do everything possible to meet their needs. Corporate social responsibility also include a positive attitude and interest in social important issues such as environment, well-being, and urban infrastructure. Developing business based on corporate social responsibility principles enables companies to implement solutions aimed at improving the state of the environment and ecology. This feature highlights the importance of waste management and the formation of corporate social responsibility at both global and local levels, necessitating the development of a comprehensive model for implementing business environment strategy properties. In line of this, in Mr. Igor's dissertation, which aims to justify the theoretical concept of waste management and the formation of social corporate responsibility in the context of the development of applied model for implementation, the environment strategy priorities of business is relevant. I want to say that it's very important that this submitted qualification thesis contains scientific provision reflected in the materials of applied research of the West Ukrainian National University. And so that very important, it is the part of the international projects like Erasmus Module Jean Monnet. The next, the qualification thesis clearly defines its goals and objectives, sustainable the methodologies, approaches to the achievement, and present a logical structure, framework, theoretical generalization, and proposal for improving the theoretical, methodological, and organizational foundation at waste management and corporate social responsibility. The qualification thesis is written in English and includes annotation in both Ukrainian and English, and introductions, 3 chapters, conclusion, a list of references, and annexes. The results have been sustained in the qualification thesis, which have theoretical and practical significance and defines the scientific novelty of the dissertation as follows. only three part of dissertation novelty. The model of waste management in the system of corporate social responsibility can be developed based on methods on implementation, environmental management, and direction of corporate social responsibility. Tools for improving the waste management system can be provided. Approaches to the development of corporate social responsibility as a management strategy have been outlined. As a component of the strategy for implementation corporate social responsibility and its interdirections under increasing conditions have been defined. It's first. The next, the evaluation of the future of corporate social responsibility and the instability has been improved by highlights the stage and approaches of business social responsibility. Problems and threats to corporate social responsibility have been outlined. And the last, the characteristics of types of corporate social responsibility have been further developed by distinction between external and internal. Theoretical identification of corporate social responsibility theories has been conducted by classification the evaluation of corporate social responsibility theories into three main phases. It's only three points of scientific novelty, but I must say that other point of novelty are really very important for this research defense, for this research. The theoretical significance of the work lies in solving the scientific problems and developing proposals for waste management and the formation of corporate social responsibility in the context of creating and the planned model for implementation, environment, and strategic business product. The scientific results of the dissertation were obtained personally by author in the authored scientific papers. Only those ideas and provisions that were personally acquired by the author were used in the dissertation. And discussion points and remark on the dissertation. Evaluation reveals the qualification thesis, which is carried out as high scientific level. Some remarks can be made that may serve as basis for discussion during the defense. First, on page 64, the author notes that improper waste management creates serious risk for environmental and human health, hinders human and urban development, economic growth, and the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals of Organization United Nations, particularly SDG 12, reducing the resource intensity of economy and ensuring environment safety. However, it would be benefit to provide a more detailed description of sustainable consumption and production model when discussing the transition from linear waste management to circular resource management. Second, next. On page 71, the author presents the stage and approaches to business social responsibility from the perspective of corporate egoism, corporate altruism, social requirements, stakeholders and judgments, and ethical obligation. It would be useful to more thoroughly show the relationship between the use of specific approaches at each stage and the achievement of economic result and sustainable business development. Third, next. On pages 1993, the author analyzed the level of emissions in the context of global transnationalization by examining European Union countries. However, this analysis influentially focused on emissions problem in Ukraine. Next, fourth. In figure 3.1, the waste management system improvement on page 103, the author lists the areas that the waste management plan should cover. It would be useful to provide a more detailed characterization of these areas, especially the waste management strategies and waste minimization strategy. And last, fifth, on page 125, the author presents figure 3.1, interdirections of corporate social responsibility under crisis. This sphere covers steps for discharging corporate social responsibility and at meeting the needs of various stakeholders. It would be beneficial to describe in more detail the change in the needs of different stakeholders during a crisis. The mentioned remark and discussion points indicate some controversial aspect of the research. However, they generally reflect the relevance, complexity, and multifaceted nature of the chosen topic is practical significance and do not significantly affect the qualification characteristics of the qualification thesis. So, general conclusion and evaluation of the qualification thesis. Mr. Rievel's qualification thesis on the topic Global Waste Management and Corporate Social Responsibility is a completed scientific study, the result of which is a scientific justification on the theoretical foundation of waste management and the formation of social corporate responsibility in the context of the development of the plot model for the implementation of the environmental strategies priorities of business. In terms of context and professional orientation, the qualification thesis corresponds of the specialty 073 management in the field of knowledge 07 management and administration, and in terms of quality and level of theoretical and practical developments in meeting the requirements for PhD thesis. It presents a unique authorial approach to solving the scientific problems. In general, the qualification thesis, Global Waste Management and Corporate Social Responsibility, meets the requirements of the resolution of the Cabinet of the Ministry of Ukraine dated January 12, 2022, number 44, on the approval of the and in terms on context and substantiation of scientific provision and recommendation and level of scientific novelty. The author, Igor Rivil, deserves to be awarded the degree of the Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 073 Management. Official opponent, Doctor of Economic Science, Professor, Vice Rector Yuri Danko. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Danko, for your speech. Thank you, but I need to ask applicant to answer your questions. Please, Igor.
Thank you, Professor Danko, for your comments. Waste collection has traditionally taken place at the doorstep, with municipalities primarily focusing on collecting unsorted municipal waste. However, private companies and informal sector have been more involved in collecting valuable materials like metals. By separating waste at its origin, it becomes easier and often more cost-effective to extract value from waste stream. In addition to the door-to-door collection, there are environmental stations or household waste recycling centers, HWRCs, where individuals can bring their bulk waste and separate it into even more fractions. To further encourage waste separation, pay-as-you-throw, PAYT systems have been implemented. Under these systems, individuals are charged more if they deposit a larger amount of residual waste. Both volume-based and weight-based PAYT systems are currently in use. The waste management strategy must encompass methods to minimize the volume of waste produced by such as implementing source reduction methods like reducing packaging waste or shifting towards a paperless workplace. The waste management plan should include strategies for disposing of waste in an environmentally responsible manner. These may include landfill diversion strategies, such as waste-to-energy facilities or composting facilities. Global challenges, such as COVID-19, have prompted companies to increasingly incorporate social and environmental aspects into their business activities. In addition to government pressure, compulsion has been another catalyst for adoption of business social responsibility practices. Debates between interest groups and shareholders have intensified in recent years, as regulatory and coercive pressures exerted on the company have led to the inclusion of robust indicators such as ESG, environmental, social, and governance-focused indicators, which include aspects related to climate change, pollution, and working conditions. Fuel efficiency standards and environmental restrictions have decreased. Therefore, coupled with the decrease in fuel prices, there will be an increase in demand for transportation, leading to an increase in emissions into the atmosphere. We agree with all other comments. We will take your comments into account in our future research. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Igor. Dear Professor Danko, are you satisfied with the answers?
Yes, yes, of course, I'm satisfied. Thank you. very much.
Thank you. And I need to ask you permission. Is it possible to include in our decision only those remarks which with the applicant agreed?
Yes, of course, yes.
Thank you, Professor. Okay, just now after our guest from Sumy, we are welcome our guest from Lviv. The floor is just now is given to our official opponent, Associate Professor of Foreign Economic and Customs Activities Department of Lviv Polytechnic National University, candidate of Economic Science, Associate Professor Natalia Horbal. We welcome Natalia in our university and thank you for agreeing to take part in our meeting of our one-time specialized academic council. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues, for inviting me to review and to participate this valuable and relevant work and to participate in your scientific council. This is especially valuable for me as just last year we finished at our department 3-year Jean Monnet project dedicated to circular economy. So we learned a lot and prepared a lot of materials. My review was prepared and presented on time, and now I want to read just the main ideas. So the issue of global waste management in the context of corporate social responsibility is extremely relevant. Thus, Igor Rivili's qualification thesis, which aims to scientifically substantiate the theoretical concept of waste management and the formation of social corporate responsibility in the context of the development of the applied model for the implementation of the environmental strategic priorities of business is relevant and timely. The dissertation has a logical structured layout with clearly defined goals and objectives and a methodologically justified approaches to their implementation. The qualification thesis is written in professional English, contains annotation in Ukrainian and English, and introduction, 3 chapters, conclusions, a list of references and annexes. The results substantiated in the dissertation have both theoretical and practical significance and determine the scientific novelty of the dissertation. The main results include a waste management model within the corporate social responsibility system has been developed. The concepts of environmental management in the system of waste management has been improved. Terminology has been improved, specifically detailing the essential characteristic of waste management and justifying the concept of waste. The evaluation of the features of corporate social responsibility and the instability has been improved, etc. The dissertation has a logical the theoretical significance of the thesis lies in solving a scientific problem and developing proposals for improving waste management based on corporate social responsibility. Let's talk more about discussion points and remarks on the dissertation. So the first one is the author analyzed the level of emissions under global transnationalization, focusing the object of his research on EU countries. However, this analysis would have been more informative if the study had paid more attention to the emission problems in Ukraine, particularly during the wartime period. Second, this is research that the informal sector plays a crucial role in community-based management. However, it would have been beneficial to specify potential directions for government support of his of this sector. The third one, the author noted that difficulties for companies seeking to maintain responsibility and consistency in their activities create regional differences in rules and standards. It would have been valuable to more thoroughly characterize these regional differences. Fourth, the study mentioned that enterprises could integrate various waste management strategies to create the most effective waste management system. The essence of such an effective waste management system should be detailed further. Fifth, the dissertation noted that developing a waste management model within the corporate social responsibility system helps companies effectively and responsibly achieve their goals. A more detailed focus on characterizing these goals in the chapter describing the theoretical and methodological basis of the corporate social responsibility study would have been beneficial. The presented comments and discussion points indicate some controversial aspects of the research. However, overall, they confirm the relevance, complexity, and multifaceted nature of the chosen topics, its practical significance, and do not significantly affect the qualitative characteristic of the dissertation work. So the general conclusion is Igor Rivili's dissertation is a completed scientific study, the result of which is the scientific justification of the theoretical foundation of waste management and the formation of social corporate responsibility in the context of development of the applied model for implementation of environmental strategic priorities of business. In terms of content and professional orientation, the qualification thesis corresponds to the specialty 073 management in the field of knowledge management and administration. And in terms of quality and level of theoretical and practical developments, it means the requirements for a PhD thesis. It presents a unique thorough approach to solving the scientific problem. In general, the qualification thesis, global waste management and corporate social responsibility, meets the requirements of the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine, number 44, on the approved of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, and the cancellation of the decision of a one-time specialized academic council of a higher education institution, such institution awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. In terms of content, substantiation of scientific provision and recommendations, and level of scientific novelty. The author, Igor Rivilius, deserves to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the specialty 073 Management. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Natalia, for your vision of dissertation analysis. And I need to ask applicant to answer the questions for your opponent, please.
Thank you to the Associate Professor Horbal for your comments. Diverse regulations and standards in different regions and countries create complexities for companies striving to maintain compliance and uniformity in their operations. While implementing responsible waste management practices can lead to long-term cost savings, it is crucial to recognize the substantial financial resources may be needed for initial investment and operational adjustments. The incorporation of artificial intelligence and data analysis into waste management procedures has the potential to completely transform the industry. By utilizing these advanced technologies, waste collection routes can be optimized, recycling efficiency can be enhanced, and the companies can gain valuable insight to make informed decisions based on data. Businesses can integrate various waste management strategies to create the most efficient waste management system. While cost effectiveness is a primary consideration, effective waste management strategies encompass reduction, reuse, and recycling. Recycling, for instance, is particularly effective for disposing of inorganic waste materials like plastics, glass, and metals. The development of the model of waste management in the system of corporate social responsibility helps companies to effectively and responsibly achieve their goals. These goals focus on integrating environmental values into the company's mission and vision, forming teams of managers to implement environmental projects, an environmental audit, prioritizing of projects that have an ecological effect with business interests, innovative forms of corporate social responsibility, and vertical and horizontal investment within enterprise associations. A description of the mentioned goals is particularly mentioned in Chapter 1.2, Theoretical Identification, the Corporate Social Responsibility Theories. We agree with all other comments. We will take all of your comments into account in our future research. Thank you.
Okay, is the official opponent is satisfied for answers?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to ask you, Natalia, is it possible to include in our final decision just only those remarks which with the applicant agreed?
Yes, sure.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. In accordance with the regulations, we proceed to discuss the decision of our council to award the degree of Doctor of Philosophy to Mr. Rivili's, in which only members of the Specialized Academic Council are welcome to participate. Who will start the discussion process? Please raise your hands. We will start with Professor Monastersky, please.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. It is an honor for me to take part in the discussion of the extremely interesting and relevant scientific research. Together with my foreign partners, I have been working on sustainable development and its management for many years. I am the founder and coordinator of the Ecological School of Public Administration for Sustainable Development in our university. There is no doubt about the relevance of the thesis topic. Humanity accumulates waste and pollutes the environment. When I was Vice Rector for International Affairs, I had the opportunity to visit Ghana twice. I saw one of the world's largest landfills, Agbogloshi, an electronic waste dump. It was a very unpleasant sight. To solve the problem of waste, we need to look for a global response using the principles of social responsibility of business. As we can see from the analysis of the research work and today's defense, the thesis has a logical structure. The applicant used modern research methods. The dissertation was completed within the framework of international and national projects. The purpose of the work has been achieved, the tasks have been completed. The scientific novelty and practical value of the dissertation are beyond doubt. Therefore, given the above, I will definitely vote for and support the awarding of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07, Management and Administration, in the specialty 073, Management, to Igor Rivili's. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your speech. Who next? Who can be next, please, dear colleagues? Who will continue? Maybe Professor Danko, please.
Okay, dear colleagues, I want to say that during many years I have been working on the issue of circular economy and waste management. I have many scientific articles in this topic in a good journal. And as a person who has good experience in this field, I want to say that Mr. Igor Rivili's has conducted an excellent research. Unfortunately, we face significant challenges in waste management as in Ukraine and other countries in the world. And so in France, I am in France now and can see the same situation in France and other countries. However, I believe that every day people will grow to civilization. And I hope that dissertation research, that this thesis will help next will help people in future to make this world better and be very careful with waste management and use all scientific results for make the world better. So my vote is za today, and I think that that we must make these very important things today and give the level of PhD for so good research for so good person. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Danko. Dear colleagues, who will be the next one? Please, Professor Zhivko, please.
Thank you, Alexander Volodymyrovich. Dear colleagues, I have read the draft of our decision. There are no objections. All the main elements that were mentioned have been highlighted, and I have also agreed to the main comments that are included in the draft. And in principle, I generally agree with the draft of decision. I have no fundamental comments, and in general, I would also like to note that the dissertation is really actual, and we are considering a dissertation that solves a rather important scientific problem. I agree with the decision of our one-time specialized council and on awarding the qualification thesis of Igor Rivylisa on the topic global waste management and corporate social responsibility submitted for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, in specialty 073 Management. And I will vote for and support Igor Rivylisa. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your answer. And please, maybe our guest Natalia join our discussion, please.
I think that this topic is extremely relevant, interesting, and practically useful and valuable. While implementing our 3-year project on circular economy, we were surprised how much students were interested, how they felt the relevance. And I read the draft of the decision, and I will definitely and strongly vote pro this supporting this thesis. And thank you, Igor, for your work.
Okay, thank you, dear colleagues. Also, I need to give some my visions and my some words about dissertation. Today, just now, we live in very unstable world and in which issues of ecology, social responsibility, both from companies and also populations, implementation of Millennium Development Goals are crucially important issues for today. Today, we have different visions of our unstable world, like VUCA world, which means that volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And other scientists mentioned that we live just now in bunny world. In this case, we can mention brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incompressible world. That's why we forget just now about stability, about that we can follow stable rules. Just now we live really in VUCA and bunny world, and the topic of this dissertation provide frameworks for understanding and responding to the challenges in rapidly changing world. That's why I also will vote to nominate our Igor Rivylisa for the candidate for PhD. And just now we can finalize our discussed solutions and take it as a basis, because all of you have these decisions. The floor just now is given to the applicant of Doctor of Philosophy degree, Igor Rivili's, for his closing speech. Please, Igor.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the rector, Professor Oksana Disanyuk, Professor Andrei Krusavate, and Professor Mikola Devak for the opportunity to defend my dissertation at West Ukrainian University. I would also like to thank my scientific supervisor, Professor Roman Зварич, for all of his help, guidance, and invaluable support. Head of one-time Special Academic Council, Professor Alexander Dluchapolsky, for his support and constructive advice. To my opponents, Professor Yuri Danko and Associate Professor Natalia Horbal, for their helpful comments and recommendations. To the reviewers, Professor Grigory Monastyrsky and Associate Professor Maxim Zhivko, for their dedicated analysis, for their detailed analysis of the dissertation and constructive criticism. Head of Professional Seminar, Associate Professor Oksana Mihal, for her support and assistance. Manager of Specialized Academic Council for the Defense of Dissertations, Olga Kosinska, for assistance in preparing all necessary documentation. Finally, my special thanks go to my family for their faith in me, support, love. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Igor, for your final speech. But just now we need to continue our meeting in Ukrainian. Шановні колеги, відповідно до пункту 28 постанови Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року, номер 44, затверджено нею порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, кожен з нас, кожен з членів разової ради відкрито висловлює свою позицію за присвоєння або за відмову у присвоєнні ступеня доктора філософії. Прошу, колеги, проголосувати шляхом підняття руки щодо присудження здобувачеві Ігорю Рівілісу ступеня доктору філософії. Прошу проголосувати. Хто за? Так, проти немає, утримались немає. Рішення прийнято одноголосно. Шановні колеги, я ставлю на голосування питання про затвердження проекту рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради ДФ 58 082 058. Прошу проголосувати.
Можна тут ще поправку?
Скажіть, якщо є ремарки.
Олександр Володимирович, на сторінці 3 у дискусії взяли участь члени спеціалізованої вченої ради і крапка. Я думаю, якщо фахівці не брали участь, я думаю, не треба, не потрібно цього писати.
Добре, зазначимо. Так, а загалом?
Загалом
як
все
ми
решта
голосуємо?
добре, так.
Прошу проголосувати підняттям руки. Так, дякую. Проти немає, утримались немає. Рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради прийнято голосно за. Шановні колеги, таким чином, на підставі результатів відкритого голосування та прийнятого рішення разова спеціалізована вчена рада присуджує Ігорю Рівілісу ступень доктора філософії з галузі знань 07, управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Засідання ради оголошується закритим. Ігор Рівіліс, we congrats you with your PhD level.